What's up, YouTube? It's me, the Artisan MC, and today I am going to give you my reaction to the Acolyte, episode 8, the finale. I don't know what the title was. I didn't even read the title. Well, now there were two things that happened in this episode that I was really hoping I did not see, and I saw them, and that has me feeling some kind of way about that. Mostly, though, I can say that while things in this episode were supposed to be kind of surprising and shocking, the only shocking thing that happened here was the amount of cannon breaking that they actually did. And the stinger, so to speak, being that somebody I did not want to see. I audibly did not want to see this fucking person in this show. Letting it know that they are complicit in this whole incident, this whole freaking ordeal of there being a dark side user, Jedis being killed and everything. I am not happy with that shit at all. Now, this episode picks up, and I'm not going to give you a full review because you can go torture yourself if you want to. Look, I'm recording this review, and I want to be done with this shit after Sunday. I don't ever want to talk about this show again, but inevitably, I will have to because it messes up so much in the Star Wars timeline. Now, this episode picks up with Master Soul and May on his ship, and her having had the recount from Soul about what he actually did, and giving Soul a little bit of crap about why he did not tell Osha all of this. Now, there are reasons for this stuff, but I think he should have told her. I do think Soul should have told Osha what happened after she was made his Padawan. He could have told her that shit. Because once the council let him have her as a Padawan, as old as she was, he could have told her all of that shit. He could have told her the truth. She was already his Padawan. So the whole point of you being afraid was alleviated. He didn't. He struggled with it because he wanted to save both of them. Okay. I didn't really get that from this 8 episodes of this show because you was so fixated and up Osha's ass. I didn't think you cared about really saving the other one. She was a lost cause. But, okay, maybe you did want to save both of them and maybe you were disappointed by that shit. Okay. Truth be told. Okay, fine, whatever. Now, Osha using Pip, which I didn't think she had back on her hip yet, was able to free herself from her 50 Shades of Jedi bondage table and give Soul the taser shock, which really made me laugh. It was just funny as shit to me because in modern day terms, what does a woman do with a creeper? You tase them. You give him Mr. Zappity, okay? It's just what you do. You give him a little bit of Mr. Zappity, and then you get away, which is what May did. She escaped into a little drop ship and gets off of Soul's ship and flies down to the planet because they have come close to Brindok. Now, what I'm just piecing together is that she flew through the rings of a planet, and it was the blue planet, the blue moon outside of Brindok, which is interesting to think about it now, but utterly fucking pointless in the case that all you have is a reason for the two of them to crash land on Brindok. May crashes, Soul lands, Basil is still there. I'm waiting for this fucking muskrat to catch a lightsaber in the head. Unfortunately, he doesn't. So this is going to be a shit episode on that. For me, it's going to be a shit episode because nobody killed Basil. I'm sick of seeing that damn thing. Shitty ass Muppet. Anyway, while Soul lands on the planet Brendok, he uses the Force to switch back on his transponder, so the Jedi Council or the Jedi on Coruscant can actually find his ship and realize he went back to Brendok. Surprise, surprise. And Master Venestra is told of this by, I don't know, Jedi Knight Moist Talet Pompadour. And she gives him the orders to ready her ship because these Jedi spend a lot of time running back and forth to places that they could have just went to directly, wasting time in the show. But what we get in the scene back on Coruscant is that Master Venestra gets to talk to this chancellor. I'm forgetting his name, not the chancellor. He's a senator. I'm forgetting his name, but it's an actor I recognize, and he was in Supergirl as John Jones. I don't remember his name because I'm doing this right after watching the episode. So forgive me if I don't recall his name because I didn't watch Supergirl a bunch. I didn't care for the show. But I knew about Martian Manhunter being on the show and the actor, the black man that they had playing him, and I recognized him right off. He's a pretty decent actor. He had a little bit role in this. I don't know why they showed this senator. They didn't need to show this senator at all unless this senator ties into something in this High Republic books that I refuse to fucking read. I can't bring myself to read this stuff. I bought one of them. I refuse to read it. My body does not want me to read that book. It doesn't. Sorry. It just refuses. Now, what you get from this scene of Master Venestra and the senator talking is completely ripped from the Fate of the Jedi series for what Admiral Dalla, who was a Moff in the Imperial Remnant, really went into with the Jedi after the actions of Jason Solo. Now, Amidala is one of my cool characters that I like from that because she is a Moff. She is, there. But her whole goal with getting into the Galactic Senate and what she was doing with the Jedi was to bring the Jedi under military control. And her main point was, which was a good one, and I've mentioned it on my show before, is that she understood that the galaxy getting plunged into another galactic civil war always happened because of Sith. And that these Sith always were Jedis first. So to eliminate the fact of having to deal with another damn galactic war because of one of these Jedis who turned rogue and went Sith, she was just going to bring the Jedi under damn control or get rid of them, which was a valid point. From a perspective of somebody on the outside of this shit, yeah, that's a valid point. If we don't have any Jedi, we don't have any Sith. And the galaxy will be grateful. So she had a good point. This is kind of stolen from her in this show with the senator talking about how he wants to bring the Jedi under control because they're too emotional. And that the Senate needs to have some oversight over them. Okay, I can see that a little bit. I can see it a little bit. It goes further from this because once you understand what was going on in episode 1 and how the Senate was watching the Jedi and how the Jedi were, clouded in the Force around the Senate, you can see that happening. It has threads that go forward. Okay, some more canon kind of altering stuff. Not exactly breaking, but it's altering it a little bit. Okay, whatever the fuck. Right. Now, on this planet of Brendok, you do have May escaping from Soul and trying to get back to the place where, she lived, the little mining colony, the little base. Now, on Unknown Planet with Osha and Chimere, You get to find out what happens after Osha puts on Chimere's sensory deprivation helmet and seeing that Osha is rarely powerful in the Force, not the thread, in the sense that Chimere cannot take it off of her. While he smiles at her having the helmet on, like, yeah, she wearing my shit. That's cool. He can't take it off of her. His eyes start turning black because she's kind of controlling him and putting him in that, I guess, the sunken place to where he cannot, really have full control of his faculties. The place that Master Tobin and Kalnaka went. Well, apparently Chimere can, tolerate that shit and is able to force his way, push through, and actually grab the helmet off of Osha, realizing that she is really powerful in the Force. Now, from this, Osha does have a vision. And the vision she has is of May with a Soul's lightsaber outstretched and Master Soul there. And Chimere kind of directs her into understanding that this is a vision of the future and what could happen next. So she's going to go ahead and figure she knows where they're going to be. She knows who's going to be there. She needs to be there to find out, what happens. And Chimere agrees to let her use his ship to go ahead and go do this. Now, at this point, I think I'm just going to blow the lid off this shit because I really don't want to talk about this shit again after I do this. So this is just switch from a reaction to a review. Just to let y'all know. Spoilers. Well, fuck it. But the show sucks, so what difference does it make to spoil it? You'll hear some loud sucking sounds. That's a spoiler. Now, from this point, Chimere and Osha decide to go on his ship and go to Brindok to see about May and Master Soul. And while they are walking out with their gear together and going to the ship, we get an image that I did not want to fucking see in this shit. I did not want to see this. And it gave me the most audible fucking, I don't even like using this term sometimes, but fanboy disgust at seeing this little grizzled hand come from around the wall and grab onto the doorway. And then the shadowy visage of what you can see is Darth Plagueis in this damn hovel. I'm like, get the fuck out. Oh my God, dude. I ain't gonna have enough ducks for this part. This pissed me off. Now, I have not read my Darth Plagueis book. I showed it to you guys on Sunday. I have it. I bought it when it came out. I have not read it. Okay, so I don't know all the rest of the lore that goes into that book, but I'm trusting theory that it's really good, right? Fine. Knowing what I know about Darth Plagueis, I did not want him showing up in this show. I did not want anybody from further canon showing up in this show to have to give this show any more weight to the fact that it can be cut out from the timeline and never fucking have existed, just like the rest of them episodes, episode 8 and 9 after The Force Awakens. I wanted these things excised. I wanted somebody to buy Star Wars and be able to cut this shit out cleanly, and we never have to think about it and never have to talk about it again like it got eaten by Eliath in Marvel Universe. It just got eaten, and you'll never see this shit again. No. They went and put fucking Darth Plagueis in this shit. I'm like, why the fuck do you want to do that? You are not a good enough writer to even be touching this character. And we talked about this on the Hero's Journey Sunday. No, I don't want them to do shit else with anybody that we know of. Nobody. Don't touch anything else. You fuck it up enough. Stop it. Just quit. No, she put Plagueis in this shit. I'm like, oh my fucking God. So that means now canon is broken in the sense that now Plagueis does not have the weight that he should have for himself. Apparently, he learned some stuff from Chimere, or maybe Chimere was his acolyte. Who fucking knows? I didn't like that shit. It really upset me. It really upset me because it is, to me, a shameless ploy, whatever you want to call it, to validate this fucking show. To make you have to watch this show now. To tie this piece of shit ass show for 8 episodes in the canon to where you can't dismiss it anymore. And also to fuck up all the rest of that work. So James Lucino, you need to talk to this bitch about, probably ruining your work. Probably ruining your work. I would think. So you might want to holler at her. Be that as it may. Chimere and Osha set off to Brindok. Now, eventually, all parties are going to have to come to bear on Brindok, right? And once everybody is there on Brindok, you get Osha, or May, making her way in. Soul has to make his own way in because the door is still locked. And then you get Chimere and Osha here as well. And given a moment, Chimere ghosts Osha and he just gone, right? So eventually everybody ends up inside and you get this scene with May and Osha in Osha's old room. And you get the two twins meeting each other again and getting to talk. Now, the conversation is such that May tells her that no, Soul killed our mother. I didn't do all of this, which is a fucking lie. She did. She did burn down everything. We saw it twice. We saw it twice. It was all you. Episode 3, episode 7, we saw you burn this bitch down. Sitting there in front of your sister saying you didn't do all this is fucking pointless. Okay? You did it. You did burn this place down. Okay? The stone that can burn by your hands. Stupid. The part that Osha did not know was that Soul killed their mama. Now, for me, Soul did that shit in self-defense. Because I don't know about you, but if I was standing next to somebody who start going full Dark Phoenix on me and turn it into whatever, Black Fire or whatever the hell else, I probably would have stabbed it too or got the hell out of there. Sorry. You was doing some witchy shit. I don't know what you're doing, but I don't feel safe around it. It's just going to be a problem, okay? Given the situation was kind of tense, I don't blame him for that too much. I would say that Mother Anastasia did some dumb shit. It was dumb. You probably should have did that at that moment. It probably should have calmed the hell down. Especially since Soul reveals that he was trying to save both the girls. Well, you was misting one of them. He didn't want that to happen. He thought she was in danger. He stabbed you. I don't blame Soul for that. But needless to say, Osha hears the truth. The Soul killed him. Right? And because she's grown up with this idea that her sister was responsible for all this, which she was, they get into a fight. Whatever the hell. Now, the fight is not too interesting, but the thing to me that sticks out about it is that the both of them have the same fighting style, which should be ridiculous. One got some Jedi training. One has been trained by a Sith who had some Jedi training. They shouldn't have the same fighting styles, I don't think. Even saying it right now, I don't think they should have the same fighting styles, especially not to the point that they, choreographing the same moves back to back like mirror images. I mean, that gets into some Twin Dragon shit, right? But whatever. It's Kung Fu fighting in Star Wars. Weird shit is probably bound to happen. Now, while the twins are having this conversation and Soul is walking the grounds inside the I don't even know what we're going to call it, a monastery, the mining company, whatever the fuck. Soul and Chimere get to see each other again and have a little bit of fight. Now, the fight scene here, where it wasn't hella remarkable, it had some good moments in it that I liked. Just watching it, there were some moments in it that I liked. There's some other shit that just looked like they just swinging sticks and not really doing a technique or anything. But for the most part, it was all right. Now, there was a point in the fight that I'm screaming at the damn screen that Soul should have cut Chimere's arm off, and he didn't. He had the opportunity. He had his arm trapped completely. He had control of that left arm. He should have cut that motherfucker off. Because in my mind, if I got somebody who can dual wield two lightsabers and I got one of these arms trapped, I'm cutting that other motherfucker off. That one's going. You lost that. That's over, buddy. You can forget that. I'm gonna give him the same shit Anakin got when Dooku was fighting with him and he picked up two lightsabers. What did he get? He lost an arm. Okay, we're gonna cut this shit down to size. You're gonna be fighting at a deficit from here on out. But he didn't do that. Okay, it's a missed opportunity. I don't like shit like that. That's a lapse in logic to me, because I would have been just knocking the saber out of his hand. Keep holding it, but I'm taking his arm. This arm is going. Buff or not, this arm is going, man. So there were some moments in the fight that I liked. There was other moments in the fight that I thought were fucking stupid, but it was decent. It's not better than anything I've seen and anything that George's did. It's not. It's not. I don't know who you're getting for your fight choreography, but you should have got somebody who know how to use swords or something. I don't know. Even with martial arts, somebody, and not just the demonstration team. Okay, somebody that actually learns how to fight with this shit. Because most of the time, it just look like they swinging shit. They're swinging sticks. Now, at a point in the fight, Soul gets the upper hand, and Chimere is disarmed, and one of his weapons is destroyed. And he is held at the tip of the blue blade. Now, to me, this is another stupid point where Soul does not kill this dude. He got the lightsaber at his neck, and he doesn't push that shit through the soft parts. I don't know what he's waiting on. I really don't. Now, he does get attacked by May, right, to get him to drop his saber. But he should have killed Chimere at that point. It shouldn't have been no hesitation on that, because there was no hesitation on Chimere's part about killing him anytime or trying to kill him anytime. What are you hesitating for? You're in a life or death situation fight. What are you waiting on? It was just dumb. Like, the power of plot compels you not to take this motherfucker's life. Whatever. I guess the number of Jedi he already killed in front of your face don't matter. But okay, all right, whatever the fuck. We need a reason for these goofy ass twins to intervene. Now, while May is able to disarm Soul, which Chimere couldn't do in all their fighting, she gets to have a little conversation with Soul and get him to say the thing that we all know now, and he has never said out loud. Now, this is another part in this where it's stupid as shit to me, that Jedis in this shit don't have senses. They don't have senses. They don't sense anything. Even with the displays of lightsaber combat and force uses that we see, this motherfucker can't sense anything. It just makes no sense to me. So while he's being led, parroted to say all this stuff, he don't sense Osha right behind him listening to this, who has picked up his lightsaber all of a sudden. His broken lightsaber, mind you. She hears him say, like, yes, he did kill the mother. Well, yeah. So? I don't give a fuck. So what? Your mother was doing some crazy shit that day. And I didn't know what she was about to do with this whole Phoenix form shit. I don't know what was happening. But I knew I didn't want to be on the business end of it. Now Osha is pissed off from hearing this. You did that? You lied to me all the time? Yeah, but so what? He told you why. The Jedi Council wouldn't have let you be trained at all to be a Jedi, which I thought was stupid because she still never became a Jedi. But they would, if they knew the truth, Soul wouldn't have gotten to train her, which didn't take anyway because she ran away. So her being mad is, yeah, you can be mad that your mama got killed, but if he told you, yeah, your mama, she went smoke on us. It was about to take us out, as far as I knew. It was a crazy time that day. I got my boy, the Wookiee Kalnaka, sitting here trying to kill me and Master Tobin. It was some wild shit going on that day. And your other mother, your mother Coral, yeah, that bitch was trying to kill us. Y'all was about to have a whole civil war in here. It was a strange day. So while I understand the character of Osha should be upset, I don't see the turn going the way it went. It didn't make much logical sense to me. It wasn't fun, put it that way. Now, what happens in this moment is something that other reviewers have said from the beginning of this shit that we were going to see, which was the whole Freaky Friday part of it with the good twin that you were following through this whole episode juxtapositioning with the bad twin. And now the good twin is the bad twin. And she uses some Darth Vader shit and force choke Soul to death before he can say, I loved you, which I knew he was going to say, but they cut it off because everything the Soul says that's of importance gets broken up and cut off in this show, especially in the last 2 episodes. So she force chokes Soul in front of Chimere and May and kills him while Chimere is over there giving, the Emperor Palpatine shit. Do it and complete your walk to the dark side. Motherfucker. My buddy Joe Herb says it best, that these people are not original. They don't have an original idea. They don't. And here you see it. A character created for this show spitting out lines that were already said in a better show. Verbatim. I hate that kind of shit. With a passion. I roll my eyes every time I see it. Now, while Soul has now left his body, become not one with the Force, but just, snuffed out. Now we get this interaction with Osha in the sense that because she was feeling so much anger and using the Force and Soul's lightsaber was broken, that it contacting her skin made the kyber crystal turn red. And when Chimere comes up to her to talk to her, she pulls the blade out on him, and you get to see the blade go from blue to red. It's supposed to be dramatic. It's supposed to be epic. I don't give a fuck. I hate that shit. I hate that shit. I've hated that since I heard it was introduced in the Clone Wars cartoon. I've hated it since then. This is a Dave Filoni thing. I fucking hate that idea. Because it removes the whole point of kyber crystals being something that you can actually mine and get different colors of. I didn't need this whole emotional turmoil situation to have a red lightsaber. That was dumb as fuck to me. So what does it mean if you have an orange saber? You really passive? It's fucking stupid to me. It's dumb as fuck to me. But apparently, he loves it. And so does this goofy bro. So we get it in there. You get to see it in live action. A crystal being turned, being bled, and the lightsaber turning colors. Whoop de fucking do. You might as well made it a rainbow. Because now she has Master Soul Saber and completing her work to the dark side by killing a Jedi without a weapon and taking that Jedi's weapon and making it her own. Whoop de fucking do. Whoop de do. Now, this little confab of the dark side gets broken up really quickly because while the twins were fighting and Soul and Chimera were fighting, Vanestra and her complement of Jedi, I don't know, wet blankets showed up and they making their way into the little mining base. And all of a sudden, since Chimera has his helmet off, he gets the sense of, oh shit, my old master here. And he runs. He pieces the fuck out. He puts his helmet on and pieces the fuck out. And everybody else sitting there looking stuck like, what the fuck going on? Now, apparently, they have senses again, and they realize that the Jedi are here. More Jedi are here. And May and Soul decide to escape this little mining colony. And May leads Osha on the trail that she took when Master Soul couldn't catch both of them. Now, this was the part that bothered me because I'm laughing about it when I watched it, that she talks about when she fell, she got sucked through this shaft. And I'm looking at the shaft when they get into it and it's lighting up as she walks. So I say, oh, I made just the quip about, Empire Strikes Back. And sure enough, she says she gets sucked into this shit and say, oh, fuck, it's legitimately Empire Strikes Back. Get the not original. Nothing fucking original in this show, dude. This is the part that bothers me so much. Stop saying you creating something when all you're doing is take it. You're not making anything. I'm not praising you for stealing from something else, from better works. I'm not praising you for that shit. I praise you for writing your own fucking story and it being good. I can't praise you for stealing and marveling about how much you stole. Oh my God. No, man. The fuck? So you get them walking through this corridor, they leave, and you get Master Vanestra coming in and realizing, she sensed her old Padawan. And I got to say, okay, yeah, I was right. That was her old, slave. That's why she used the whip on him. Now, I thought we were going to get a moment in this courtyard with Master Vanestra looking at Soul's body and Chimera in the cuts with the helmet on, making sure Master Vanestra Xavier doesn't sense him. But no, we didn't get none of that shit. I was like, oh, okay, I guess they didn't want to pay for the fight training for Leslie's wife. All right, whatever the fuck. I thought we were going to see the Double Dawn whipped out again, but apparently that one episode is all we get of that. So a lot of hype for nothing. Fucking flat levers, whatever. But everybody escapes the planet, and while Basil, the muskrat in question, shows up to this complement of Jedi, going out 5 clicks, which I don't remember Star Wars ever using clicks or seconds, but that's just me. Securing the perimeter, they use Badger or Basil, the muskrat, to sniff May's pack and track her to where they're going. Oh, goody. Now, May leads Osha back to the Bunta tree, and I was wrong in assuming that I was going to get an Avatar moment where they just, swap consciousnesses back into the same body or some shit like that. Since Soul had revealed to him, they're not twins at all. They're the same person, which means to me, I'm waiting for some Dragon Ball Z Fusion Kai shit to happen. Didn't happen. Disappointed. What does end up happening is that even in his sensory deprivation helmet, Chimera can sense them. The rest of this compliment of Jedi can't sense a fucking thing. They need a whole muskrat to let them track them to the spot. Chimere found them pretty easy and got there ahead of them. Whatever. And the plan is to leave May behind. Osha will go with Chimere and be his acolyte. They're going to leave May behind and they're going to wipe her mind. And she won't remember her sister or Chimere. We just go hand wave all over this bad shit. And that's what happens. Strangely enough, it works with just a little hand wave. I think anything psychic like that should take a little bit more time, a little bit more finesse. But no, apparently Chimere has this kind of power to do that shit. So he wipes her mind. He wipes May's mind. And May is left there dressed like Osha when the Jedi arrive at the Boomta tree to take her into custody for the people that she's killed. Awesome. Now, the moment that was supposed to make you cry in this was when May and Osha actually hug it out and say goodbye to each other. And May does not remember the words to their little chant that they had together, which didn't make me feel anything. I didn't feel shit for that. I didn't. I felt no stirring of anything, story-wise or none of that. I'm just like, whatever the fuck. I'm just watching it like whatever. It made no difference to me. Didn't make any difference. So Osha or May getting arrested didn't mean anything to me either. She don't know what the hell she did. So what are you going to do? Put her in prison? Both these characters live? Oh, good. This got to be a problem for 80 years. Now, the epilogue, or just the closing out of this episode, has May return to Coruscant in cuffs and getting brought to Master Venestra's office for Master Venestra to give the most insightful line ever of like, do you know why you're here? And my thinking is, because a bunch of Jedi brought me in cuffs to your office. What the fuck do you want? Exactly. And what we get from Master Venestra is her feeding May all the information that she does not fucking know. Even about having a sister that she doesn't remember and does not know. And you get the understanding that Master Venestra is going to use May and make her a Jedi. She is. She's going to use her. Now, they've already done the dirty deed, or Master Venestra has already done the dirty deed with sullying Soul, meaning that in a strange twist of fate, the way Soul and Anara lied about what happened on Bryndock, Master Venestra lies about what happened on Bryndock and blames everything on Master Soul. That it was Master Soul who wiped out all these Jedi. He was responsible for these other, masters being killed because he couldn't deal with the grief of what he did after 16 years. So he went ahead and killed everybody. Soul gets tarnished as a Jedi. The Jedi have something to throw to the Senate as, no, we're doing our own oversight or whatever. And this is what we found. We had a rogue Jedi, lone nut. Gotta love it. And it wasn't us. It was him. He not like us. I didn't like that idea. I thought it was bullshit. But in a weird kind of way, that's the way it would work out. He's the only one dead. He's the last one of the four that was dead. Can't nobody dispute the story. The only person that could got her mind wiped. The other one is in the wind with the dark side, having a good time, waiting to get some of that dark force. So why the hell not blame it all on him? I do not think it stops anything, but I do get the indication that Master Venestra is just going to turn around and use May. That May will end up being a Padawan in the Jedi Order all over again, like her sister was before her. and she would be trained and show up again later somewhere. I don't know, but somewhere. Now, the last objectionable point to this happens a little after you get the wrap up with Chimere and Osha. And what you see is them back on unnamed planet, standing on the rocky outcropping from the ship, and Osha just looking out into the nothingness, staring at water, which I fucking hated in Ahsoka. I hated that whole episode of Ahsoka. A whole episode of people just staring out at water. It's not interesting at all. But Osha standing there and Chimere coming up to her and wrapping his hand around hers while she's holding Soul's lightsaber. And I'm like, oh, she about to get some of that dark force. Yeah, she's going to be a whole acolyte. And they just standing there looking off into the distance like it's supposed to give you some symbolic Luke Skywalker looking off at the desert in the sun setting on Tatooine vibes. It didn't give me that vibes at all. It looked fucking ridiculous. Why is he holding her hand? Because he about to fuck. And she's sort of grinning, right? I'm like, whatever. But that point, the epilogue to this is the final episode of this, the final part of this, which just really got my goat. And like I said earlier, there were two characters I did not want to see show up in this shit. One of them was Plagueis. I didn't want anybody connected to Palpatine, none of that, to show up in this at all. I did not want them to show up in this at all. The other one was a character I hadn't heard about being hinted about being in this shit over a year ago when they were talking about this show. And I remember hearing the arguments about Hedlund and KK and George going back and forth on this character showing up in this stuff, that they didn't want the character to show up. But apparently KK can't resist tearing down everything. And you get the final scene of Master Venestra coming into a room and talking to her master. And the camera pans down to reveal the back of Master Yoda's head. And I'm like, oh, now your defeat is complete. The destruction is complete. Now you have the biggest canon breaking moment of all, which is you have Yoda as I don't even want to say a co-conspirator. You have Yoda having knowledge of this Sith dark side person happening, because the way the scene is crafted, Master Venestra is coming to tell Yoda what the fuck happened for real. Really what happened, which makes Master Yoda a fucking liar in the Phantom Menace. They already screwed up I'm saying his name wrong, Kyle Mundi, by having him in this shit when he ain't even supposed to be born yet. They already fucked it up with that. So they just turned the two people who would sit in Phantom Menace, or not Phantom Menace, but forget the movie, but understand that Sith have not been around for a millennia, having knowledge of this dark side person with a red lightsaber running around and killing these Jedi and everything else, and they just sitting on the council and ain't saying shit. Are you fucking kidding me? You've got to be fucking shitting me. That was for me the death of Star Wars. Canon just blown up. Finished. Like, is nothing sacred. Is nothing sacred anymore. You have people who cannot create their own material to save a fucking life, constantly destroying somebody else's better work. Constantly. I didn't want to see Yoda in this shit. I didn't want to see Plagueis. I didn't want to see Yoda. I didn't want to see ears, green, nothing. I didn't want to see him at all in this. But they could not resist in putting his ass in this. That's a KK move. And now you just ruin who Yoda is to people, because she can't resist trying to use it. This series has been a shit show. And not in the funny sense where it's just like, people passing jabs around or whatever. No, it's been a shit show in writing, in acting, in storytelling, in consistency with characters' motivation, and how the Jedi behave, how Darksiders behave, the character usage, the canon breaking. It has been a shit show on monumental levels that really ruins Star Wars in a sense. If Plagueis and Yoda had not showed up into this, like I told you guys, I'd be able to watch this and totally divorce it from anything else canon. I'd have my 6 episodes in my extended universe and my legend stuff, and I'd be good. Just don't touch this. I'm cool. You can do whatever the fuck you want out there. But no, these goofy motherfuckers had to make sure they tied that shit in to everything, which is my problem with this HR High Republic era altogether. The place where it's positioned, it changes what you know of the High Republic, not the High Republic, but the Old Republic, and it changes everything that comes behind it from episode 1 on. Changes everything. Everything can be blown up now because it is inconsistent. And that was one of the things I loved about the Star Wars universe above all others. Above all others, the consistency in its canon was tight. This bitch ruined it in 8 episodes. Ruined it in 8 episodes. Why? Because these people are not creative. These are not artists. They're plagiarists, but they're not artists. These people are not talented. They don't deserve to have any praise for nothing that they put out in this. And this being the finale is good, because if I had to watch another goddamn episode of this show, I'd want to stab myself in the eyeballs. I would have to go and get a frontal lobotomy so I can watch this shit and try to be entertained. Because the most entertaining thing coming out of this, for me, is this right here.
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
That's the most entertaining shit. It is a meme that will live forever in infamy for how ridiculous this show was. How adolescent the writing was. I can expect this from a 10-year-old. I can't expect this from supposed to be a full-grown woman. For all her talk, all her bullshit, all her hype about what this show was supposed to be, it's kind of like Frozen and Kill Bill and all. No, it wasn't. This is just shit you stole from. What makes it kind of like Star Wars? Because I never referred to this show as being part of Star Wars. I'll call it the Acolyte, but I will not do it the justice of saying Star Wars Acolyte. No, fuck you. It's not. It's not. It is some offshoot. It's some Splinter Realm shit. Until you start putting Plagueis and Yoda in this shit. From my understanding, there is no season 2 happening. She can keep playing coy with these interviews and shit all she wants to. From my understanding, there is no season 2 happening. Disney put a kibosh on that. And she fighting them with lawsuits and shit like that to try to make a season 2 happen. Can you get on X and hashtag? No, I ain't hashtagging shit. You want a hashtag? Fire her. Hashtag, get the fuck out of here. I will need, I say this humorously, but I will need therapy after this. You know what my therapy will be? Watching episodes of better Star Wars shows. That will be my therapy. To show me how it was done when it was done right, when it was done by George, and not what it was done by Kathleen Kennedy or Leslie Headland or Dave Filoni. Because I'm sick of the gaggle of you bitches. And I do mean 3 bitches. I'm sick of y'all. I'm glad this show is over. I am so glad this show is over. You cannot believe. Because it has been crawling over 100 miles of broken glass. And I just want time to heal up. That's all I need. I've made it. I've made it to the finish line. Can you get me some peroxide and alcohol and some tweezers so I can pull this glass out of my belly and heal the fuck up? Because this is just, this is worse than character assassination. It is. It's worse than that. And I still, to this day, feel so bad for George that he has to live to see them do this shit to his child. The universe he birthed and created. I hate that he has to see that shit. That breaks my fucking heart to know that he has to see this. And the only thing that gives me a little praise is when you hear interviews that he says he hasn't watched any of it. Like, thank God, George. Thank God, dude. You don't want to. Don't ever watch it, dude. Don't let nobody tell you about it. Don't let nobody give you a spoiler. Don't ever watch this, George. Please don't. I'm a fan. An old 50-year-old fan. You know, one of these ones that they say don't know Star Wars. I don't want you to ever watch this. I don't want you to hear about this. This is heartbreaking, dude. This is heartbreaking. How they have come in and just want to destroy everything that you've created, that you spent your life working on. I don't know why somebody would have this much hatred for you. Really, I really don't. I really don't understand why somebody would have this much hatred for what you created. Unless I understand that they're a bunch of fucking no talent ass jealous bitches. So with that cheery note, I'm going to end this review of The Acolyte episode 8, the finale. Thank God we lived through it. Oh, Jesus. Like, share, subscribe. Support the stream if you feel so inclined. I will go on to watching something else better. And the next review you see me do will be for something that's a lot better and more worth your time of watching than this shit. Shout out to Rapman and Supercell. I will see you guys next time and cheer your spirits. Peace.